My summer vacation. Today is a bright and sunny day. My mom wants to go outside and take a walk. However, my dad and my brother is busy. Eventually, we all agreed and went outside together. As we were walking, we saw a crowd gathering around a mysterious purple figure. Af- After seeing that as a portal, I go online to get raffle tickets. Unfortunately, there is a long wait. When it finally got to my turn, I was so excited. When they announced the winner, it turned out to be me. At first, I was confused, but then I was so happy. When I was standing in front of the portal, the wind pushed me in before the host can finish saying the instructions. When I started following, the portal suddenly turned red. Then I remembered the instructions that when a portal turns red, it means that it malfunctioned. In an instant, I landed in a strange, colorful land. I learned about Invisible Dude and where I am from him. The Invisible Boy explained to me how this new dimension works. He also told me that if I don't leave this place soon, I will disappear and become invisible, just like him. This means I have to get out of this place as soon as possible. To get the key to the castle, I must complete an obstacle course. I must also complete it to get across to the king's castle. There were various obstacles, including stepping stones, rope swings, slides, ladders. The course was very. When I finally finished the obstacles, I found out that instead of a key, I get a map leading to the key. Staying in this world for too long will cause me to disappear, so I must hurry up and find the key before I become invisible like the Invisible Boy. Suddenly, I spot the key laying on the ground. Now, with the key, all I have to do is go to the castle and talk to the king. I asked him to return me back to my dimension. My goal is almost reached. The king made a surprising choice. He immediately said, "Okay, sure. Now it is time for me to go back home." I said bye to the king. Then he teleported me back. The end. Disney World Magic by Caitlin Ng. Bella wakes up and she asks, "What time is it?" She hears her mom say, "Bella, come downstairs. We're late to the airport." She quickly brushes her hair and says, "Yes, Mom, almost done." She runs to the car and soon asks, "Are we almost there yet?" Her mom says, "No." After when they get there, she asks, "Do you have your ticket?" Bella replies, "Yes, Mom, bye now." She checks the time. "Oh, I have 10 minutes to board now." She quickly runs to the gate and she soon hears, "Gate 10 is boarding now." She boards and soon after she hears a Uber say, "Uber for Bella." When she gets ready and changes, she goes on the bus inside the park. She grabs one of the maps so she doesn't get lost. She asks herself, "Where should I go now? What about Magic Kingdom?" She admires the castle and she says, "Wow, this is the most magical place in the world. Oh, look, there's a shop. Candy shop." She waits in line to get some yummy cotton candy. Soon after, she asks, "Where's my phone?" Lynn put my cotton candy down to look for it. "Found it. Where's my cotton candy?" She looks up and sees the cotton candy flying in the skies. She says, "This is the best place ever." Next, she says, "I want to go to the teacups." After, she was screaming on the ride. Soon after, she went to a cafe to have some tea. After, she went on a few rides and ended and she goes on all the other rides, but soon after she says, "Wait, what the?" And she starts floating into the clouds. Soon after, she looks at the pink clouds and she says, "Wow, these are so soft." She looks behind her though, and she says, "What's that?" to a shadow. She can see all the park from here. Soon after, the fireworks start, and she says, "Wow, it's starting already? I love this." She points at one of the clouds and she says, "Can I eat this?" And she takes a nibble of one of the cotton candy clouds. She says, "It's so good." But what now? Oh, wait. What if? And she started screaming because she fell through the clouds. Luckily, the magic carpet saved her and glided through her to the floor. "Thanks," she said. "This is nice. What now?" I know. On Space Mountain, during the line, she said, "It's taking forever." Then she said, "This is getting boring." Soon after, she finished the ride and said, "I need to call my mom and go back to the hotel." And just come home already. All right, I'm at the airport. Bye now. Yeah, I'm sleeping on a plane. The end.
Zombies! Ah! Created by Logan Hall. We drove hours to our destination, the Monroeville Mall. The mall seemed strangely empty from the outside, and there was no other cars parked. But we decided to go in anyways. Immediately after we heard the strange noise, we all hid behind different things. And when the noise started getting quieter, I peeked my head over the thing I'd been hiding behind. And it was a zombie! Before we could fully react, we heard grunting behind us, and it kept getting louder, louder, and louder. And by the time we turned around, there was a bunch of zombies running straight at us. We were surrounded by zombies on almost all sides, but then we saw it. The security office! We ran to the security office and tried to open the door, but it was locked. Luckily, there was a key in the key box. We unlocked the door, got inside, and locked it again. We relaxed knowing that the zombies couldn't get us in here, and while I was looking through the window, I saw it. A zombie switch! I told my mom and sister about what I saw, and we decided that it would be best if I tried to go and turn it off alone. I left the security office, but the way I was originally planning to go was blocked off by zombies. So I ran in the opposite direction, and there just happened to be an open door. I ran in and locked it, and the room just happened to be a stock room. After realizing how many zombies there were going to be on the pad to the zombie switch, I decided if I was going to get to it, I would need a disguise. And after looking around the stock room, I found everything I would need. I put on all the things I found and walked to the window of the door. "Whoa, this is gonna be tough," I said, while looking at all the zombies that were out there. I opened up the door and walked out. "It's working," I thought to myself as I walked past all the zombies. And now it's time to end this. I looked at the zombie switch, realizing that this whole thing was finally over. I turned off the zombie switch, and all the zombies disappeared. I took off my zombie mask and met back up with my family, and we left the mall together. The end. Written and illustrated by Logan Hall, Class 6G1, JHS 190, Russell State.
A time-traveling carnival. Pearl woke up to her mom downstairs making breakfast. As Pearl exclaimed, "I've been waiting for this carnival. Let's go." As her mom Christine replied, "Slow down. It doesn't start till 9:30 and it's only 8:30." Pearl said, "It's actually 8:31, but okay." Once they all woke up, they got into the car and the kids discussed what's at the carnival. Pearl, Emma, Avery, and Penny went straight to the rides the moment they got to the carnival. First bumper cars, then the great swing, after the rise and shine. The second Emma got off that ride, she clung to the floor. I love you, Flourishie said. Soon after, Avery said, I'm starving, and all the kids agreed. So they went to get food and found a nice place to eat under a tent with plenty of shade. But the clouds started to become dark. Christine said the weather app never said it was going to rain. As the clouds got darker and darker, the rain got stronger and stronger, and so did the lightning. The rain started flooding into the tent, so they made a run for it. They all stopped in the middle of the flooded driveway, and lightning hit a metal sign. Right before their eyes was a big portal covering their way to the cars. What's that? Pearl exclaimed. I don't know, but stay away from it, her mom said, frightened. But Pearl got closer. Emma said, it's getting really windy all of a sudden, Avery shouted. I think it's pulling us in. As a big gust of wind started pushing them closer and closer to the portal. Ah! Pearl screamed, almost getting sucked into the portal, but quickly clung to a sign pole. They all agreed to go into the portal because they couldn't hold on much longer. Pearl said, 1, 2, 3. They all gave in and let go into the portal, but next thing Pearl knows, she's in mid-air and noticed that she was going to fall. Oh no, we're going to fall. As Pearl fell from a tall height from the portal. Ow, Avery said. Penny said, Where are we? More like, when are we? Her mom said as she pointed to a sign that said, The Great Carnival of 1085. As all of them stood in disbelief, a paper falls from the sky and into Pearl's hand. It reads a riddle. If you wish to go back and that's what you seek, then here's what you'll need to get out of this messy beat. The sharpest needle there is to mankind is what you'll need to find. Fluff from the clouds, but it has to be real, not a bluff. And dino skin, as slick as it can be. When they hear this, they all get straight to finding these items. Pearl spots a shiny needle on. Pearl, her mom, and her dad stacked on top of each other. It was not her brightest idea, but it was the only one. They successfully reached, but soon after they fell to the ground. Her next idea was most likely the craziest. She forced her cousin Emma to get on top of a dino to get a piece of the cloud. After, Pearl got some of the cloud in a jar. Emma asked how they were going back down. Pearl said, You know how. And then Emma responded, Nope, no, no way, nada. As Emma was screaming on the top of her lungs, sliding down the dino tail, Pearl was having fun. When they got back down, the last thing on the list was a piece of the dino skin. Then Pearl's mom said, Were you not just on a dino? Emma revealed that she ripped some off as they were sliding down. Pearl asked, But how? Emma responded, Oh, it came right off, as she remembered they had all the items, but who did they give it to? Smoke appeared. Suddenly, a person came out. He didn't look like a human, but also didn't look like a dino. Pearl exclaimed, What is that? Then Christine screamed, Ah! And frightened the unknown person. Then the unknown person screamed. Pearl broke up the screaming fit and asked, Are you the one that we give these items to? The stranger answered, Yes, and I also am the one that teleported you here. So she gave all the items to the unknown. Pearl asked, What are these items for? The unknown person answered, For a jacket. Something called the Ice Age is coming, and it sounds cold. Then Christine responded, Why can't you just teleport yourself into the future to pass the Ice Age? He responded, I already tried it. Sadly, it doesn't work on me. They all understood and they teleported back. The end.
The Half Court Chat by Yulian Yusupov. The Half Court Chat is a first-person written story about a boy who was in Russia for summer vacation. He likes to play basketball, but one time he got thirsty and when he went to get a drink, he fell through a hole in the house. I was sitting outside of my grandma's summer house in Russia, playing on my Nintendo Switch until I got thirsty. I went to get some juice from the house, but when I stepped in, I tripped and fell through a hole. Ah! I screamed as I fell. The hole was deep, but when I landed, I looked around and figured I was in an indoor basketball court. Whoa! I thought out loud. But as I looked around, I saw Wilson Evolution basketball, as good as new. When I dribbled up to the three-point line, I took a shot. I knew I was not very good at three-pointers, and I barely made them, but this time I made my shot. At first I thought that I got lucky, but after making 5 more in a row, I knew that there was something off. Bruh, it just came to my mind, straight like that. I just figured out that only on this court and only I can make every single shot. But something else caught my eye. In the corner of the gym, there was a huge shrimp. Gulp. There was an enormous shrimp next to me. I dropped the ball, scratched my head, and asked with a stammer, "Who are you?" He answered by saying, "I be called Shrimp Boss." He gave me a letter that said, "You must make 3 half-court shots in a row to go back home." After he told me, "You will have help," in a very deep voice, I asked, "And who will help me?" I was already looking at the rack for the basketballs and the hoop that I'll have to shoot in. The shrimp stood there for a minute and then finally answered, "Do you know LeBron James?" That was the question he literally asked me. "Bro, of course I know LeBron James. He's my favorite player." After that, he answered me, "Well, the thing is, he has a living crown because they call him the king, and it is gonna help you aim." I chucked my hand back and was ready to throw. On the first shot, I made it. Yes, sir! I was excited. On the second throw, I yeeted the ball. Swish! The ball went perfectly through the net. Hey, let's go! But on the third throw, oof, the ball bounced at least 10 times on the rim, but I made it. Phew! That was tough. Yes, I finally finished the challenge and I get to go home. "Homie Portal will be taking you home," the shrimp said, and I'm wondering, "Who even is that?" I asked him. "A portal," he simply answered. "So, this is our goodbyes?" asked LeCrown James. He replied all of a sudden, "Have this ball. It's signed by LeBron." "Thanks, bro," I replied. "Well, let's get him home," LeCrown said. "Yeah, he's tired," Shrimp Boss replied. I jumped through Homie Portal. I jumped out of the portal and just remembered that I have to help Grandma. Ah! The end.